And if I were to say that Corinne Tan is the best American Girl of the year that they've made, what then? Would you believe me? Would you watch my whole video where I explain why? Hope you would, because that's what we're doing for this video. So thank you very much for clicking on my video. I'm Bailey, and on this channel I yap about whatever I feel like. And if you're watching this, you're probably my friend and I sent it to you, so thank you very much for watching. And if you're not my friend and I didn't send it to you, also thank you very much for watching. We're gonna have a good time. We'll start by talking about the doll. Corinne Tan was the American Girl of the Year in 2022. She has her own original face mold, light skin, black hair with turquoise streaks, and dark brown eyes. If you're looking at my doll and thinking, that doesn't sound anything like what you just described, that is not Corinne Tan, you're right! This is Jennifer! She's wearing Corinne's meet outfit. I do have a nice cable knit sweater that I would have worn, but it's at my mom's house, so maroon sweater it is. Corinne's collection is a little bit wild. Her younger sister Gwen was released as a Welly Wisher, which is the doll for girls not yet old enough for American Girl, so I guess that's great tie-in and cross-promotion. But Gwen also has her own line. So as you can see, Corinne's meet outfit is the white sweater, sparkly leggings, and the teal boots. Her other outfits include the casual outfit, skiing outfit, pajamas, and camping outfit. Her meet accessories, which I don't have, I just buy the outfits on eBay. A pink hat, leg warmers, sunglasses, a round backpack, and her ski pass. Another accessory pack are the ski accessories, a dog with a backpack, the ski lodge fire set, ski and snack shop, and the camping accessories. The big ticket item is Gwen and Corinne's bedroom. They also have a baby brother, Blix. He is an accessory. I told you, younger siblings are pets. Blix is not a bitty baby. He is a little bitty baby, which I had not heard of before doing research for this video. Little bitty babies are different from bitty babies in that they're smaller and have a hard vinyl body. The American Girl Wiki says that they're accessories for the Truly Me line. Truly Me is the new Just Like You. Gwen has a meet outfit and then some other outfits, including skating performance and pajamas. She also has meat accessories, but this isn't about her. We're not going to go into detail. Corinne has two books, Corinne and Corinne to the Rescue. Both were written by Wendy Wanlong Shang and illustrated by Peijin Yang. I'm really sorry if I said those bad. So we'll start this one-person book discussion. The book starts, as all American Girl doll books do, with pictures of everybody that we're going to hear about. I think it's fun that the pictures are triangles because so much of this references mountains. The advisors are thanked at the beginning and they don't have photos. This is different from the girls before where they are at the end and have photos. The book starts with Gwen and Corinne skiing together, and Corinne wants to watch the rescue dog and people practice, but they have to go to Arnie's house, so they walk there. He has a big townhouse. It's expensive, it's fancy, it feels very hotel, and they're going to pick out their own bedrooms. Their mom is opening a Chinese street food restaurant called Kuai Le. I'm sorry if I said it bad. And Gwen is feeling weird about mom's room being a whole floor up and then having her own room because she and Corinne used to share, so Corinne offers to share a room with her. Corinne is really anxious about moving into Arnie's house because it's so nice. Corinne and Arnie just aren't really vibing, and she asks if she can paint her room purple, like at her old bedroom, and Arnie's like, I don't know, I have to think about it. I have to talk to my interior designer, which is like a weird thing to say. Most of this book is Corinne thinking to herself, and she is struggling with the change of her mom getting married because her parents getting divorced was kind of a lot for her. And she's still kind of having a hard time with that. But she's glad that Arnie and her mom are going to have a small courthouse wedding because she thinks it might mitigate hurt feelings. Arnie wants to bond with Gwen and Corinne, so he starts paying for Gwen to have private skating lessons, and Corinne wants to tell her friend Cassidy, but Cassidy thinks people who do that are snobs, and she doesn't want Cassidy to think that she or Gwen are snobs, so she decides not to tell her. And then Arnie is like, hey, Corinne, what is it you would like to do? I'll pay for it. And Corinne's like, nothing, because she has a hard time accepting things from Arnie. So he decides to attach his credit card to her ski pass so that she can buy snacks or mittens or whatever at the ski resort. And when he tells her this, she's like, yeah, okay, thanks, and then just doesn't use it. She has a hard time accepting things from Arnie. Arnie offers to pay for skiing lessons for Corinne, but she just wants to do it for fun, not for competition, and likes doing it with her dad. He's a ski instructor. Everybody goes to watch Gwen's first skating lesson, and Corinne talks with her mom about the I have to talk to my interior designer thing, and she says that she wishes that she wouldn't have to ask questions, that her mom would just know what she's thinking and feeling and say it. And I know there are people like that in the world, but she needs to learn to speak up for herself. And then she has a racist interaction. Like, straight up. I'll read it to you. So she's leaving the arena and walked through the door first. Other people were walking in behind her. "Don't touch that door," said the shorter boy. "She just touched it. She was me." "What are you talking about?" said the other one. "Her," the boy said, pointing at me. "She has coronavirus, kung flu." We're going to talk about how I feel about that interaction at the end, okay? Corinne tells Arnie about it, and he acts like nothing happened and is like, "Oh, what? That doesn't happen here. They must be visitors." Corinne decides not to tell her family about the racist boys because they're all in such good moods, and we'll find this comes back later, but we find out Arnie is afraid of heights. Corinne spends some time with her dad. He's a ski instructor, and she likes spending time with him, and he makes them practice their Chinese a little bit more. He couldn't work during lockdown. That is mentioned explicitly. He takes them to the ski resort where he works, and there's X Games free skiers there. Eileen Gu, who went to the Olympics, and Gwen and Corinne like that she's Chinese like them. They ask their dad to teach them how to ski like her. And while he does, they find a ski shrine dedicated to Calvin and Hobbes and decide that they should make one. But they don't know what they would make it about. Corinne gets weird about Gwen talking about Arnie to dad and feels like those two streams shouldn't cross. And also feels like she doesn't have a home anymore. It's either dad's house or Arnie's house because they sold the house that her whole family lived in before dad moved out when her parents got divorced. Cassidy invites Corinne over to her house for a sleepover, but it's the day of her mom's wedding. Corinne is just not telling Cassidy anything about what she's going through because of how much Cassidy hates rich people and Arnie is rich people. Corinne goes skiing after school and sees the racist boys, so she goes on a different trail. The search and rescue people don't want to let her ski by herself, but she's okay with hanging out with them and watching them practice with the dogs. So now she knows what she wants Arnie to use his big bucks on. She wants a dog, and she's going to teach it how to be a search and rescue dog. We love goals. Go, Corinne. But Arnie's not sure about having a dog. So they go just to look and end up taking Fleury home. Corinne's mom and Arnie get married at City Hall, and they spend the night at Dad's house after that, but during the reception, Arnie gives Gwen and Corinne necklaces and gives them a sweet speech about how he's taking on the responsibility. The stepdad speech. I'm not gonna replace your dad, but I love your mom. I love you. I'm going to take care of you. It's nice. Arnie is trying. Corinne doesn't love the reception and is relieved when she can leave and go to her dad's house. He takes the girls to the resort where he works, and he rented the fire pit and got cocoa and s'mores, and they have a really nice night, and you can buy that set from American Girl. Gwen is having a hard time not telling dad about stuff with Arnie and mom, and dad is fine with it. He doesn't mind. It's only Corinne that minds and is weird. Dad got Corinne a signed Eileen Gu poster, and dad feels like he needs to compete with Arnie but doesn't know how to tell him that he doesn't need to. And Corinne's introspective and recognizes that she's probably struggling more with this big change because she has more memories of her parents before all the fighting than Gwen does, and that's why Gwen isn't struggling with the change so much. Because for her, this is good change, but Corinne remembers the good times before. The girls get to see their new bedroom. It's baller, even better than what they would have come up with on their own. The interior decorator really did a good job, and you can buy it. Well, not anymore. It's not 2022. Corinne feels like she can't hang up her poster and asks where to put it, and her mom says in the closet, and she's like, "Oh, okay. Are you going to put me there?" But Corinne can't tell Cassidy about it because she still hasn't told her that Arnie is rich. Cassidy comes to one of Fleury's training sessions, and it goes really well. Cassidy is also really crafty and makes a little vest for Fleury to wear. It's another day now, and Corinne has Cassidy come over to her mom's new restaurant because she still doesn't know how to tell her about Arnie's big house. They make zongzi. I think that's how you say it in the kitchen. You can buy that food. It's a set. And listen, I have no problem with them incorporating foods. Like I said, I liked it with kavi. I just have not had Chinese street food ever in my life, but it does sound good. When Corinne's dad comes to pick her up, he and her mom have kind of a weird tiff about scheduling and who's going to pick up which kid, and it makes Corinne really uncomfortable. Gwen and Corinne are sent with a backpack full of zongzi to promote the restaurant, and people try them and love them. They find a tree that they want to build their shrine on and dedicate it to sisterhood. And Gwen puts her nice necklace from Arnie on it. And Corinne is like, "Dude, what?" And Gwen is like, "Well, we'll come back. I'll just get it then. I want it to be special until then." And Corinne is happy to finally have something that feels like their place because everything feels like it's Dad's or Arnie's or somebody else's. When they get back to the restaurant with the empty backpack, somebody makes a racist comment about it's good that the dog, Fleury, is outside because if it was inside, they would eat it. And Corinne and Gwen are really upset, and they tell their mom about it. And she runs outside and yells at him and tells him he's being racist and it's wrong, and don't say that to my daughters, and you're not welcome in my restaurant. Go, Corinne's mom! But when they tell Arnie, he sweeps it aside and is like, "Yeah, I don't think about that," and that upsets Corinne. But She never says how she feels. Gwen has a skating competition and they bring Zongzi as a fundraiser and also promotion. And there's been this whole running thing about Sister Brain where Gwen is convinced that they can send each other messages. And she's like, no, I want you in my competition so you can send Sister Brain so I land my really hard jump. Oh, so the decision was made for that. It's not actually happening. But then at school, Corinne learns about the Chinese Exclusion Act and says it hurts, but she's glad to know the truth. And there's a bit about, even if the history is painful, we still have to teach it so that we can learn from it and be better. Love it. Now it's the day of the competition. Gwen is nervous. She wishes she had her necklace for good luck, but doesn't want to wear Corinne's. Corinne goes to buy a t-shirt for Gwen, and when she's there, sees the racist boy, and he makes a comment, and she stands up for herself and is backed up by the teenage cashier. The only person available for Corinne to talk to about it is Arnie, and she doesn't feel supported by him. It's important to note, I forgot to mention it, Arnie is Swedish, so not only is he white, he's also not American, and I think that factors a lot. It factors a lot into him not knowing how to handle what Corinne is dealing with. Cassidy goes to the meet to support the food stall and is shocked to see Gwen figure skating, and during Gwen's routine confronts Corinne, and then Corinne reacts loudly and Gwen falls out of her big jump, and Corinne feels like everything is her fault, so she runs away. And then she decides that she's gonna make it up to Gwen by finding her necklace, but when she's looking for the necklace, she gets lost, and then Flurry finds her, and everybody is just so happy to have her back that they're not mad at her anymore. But she does own up to the things, the secrets she'd been keeping, the way that she had been feeling, tells Arnie, like, when you sweep it under the rug, I feel unsupported by you. And he's like, dude, I just want you to be happy. I'm really sorry. I'll do better. Everybody reassures her that they love her. Arnie shows up late because he had taken the gondola up the mountain to check if her ski pass had been used, and he's scared of the gondola, and Corinne is like, oh my god, you faced your fears for me? And Arnie's like, yes, you are my daughter. We love a supportive stepdad. And he admits that he was avoiding conversations about racism because they made her so upset, and he just wants her to be happy. This man doesn't know how to be a dad, and I think he should maybe take some classes about, like, racial sensitivity, but I guess that's what he thinks is the best option. He's not American, so maybe that's the train of thought he was having. Corinne sees Arnie and her dad talk and is like, oh, okay, they know each other, they get along, I can talk about them to each other, which is good. And then she apologizes to Cassidy the next day. Book 2. I do not like Book 2. Summer is starting soon. The snow is melting. Corinne wants to keep working with Flurry to be a rescue dog because after her experience feels that this is the right thing to do. And Gwen is super annoying now. She gets a mentor for training Flurry and is told that Flurry needs to be able to ride in a boat, jump on your back, jump on a ski lift. The bedroom has a ski lift, so they practice on there, and it doesn't go well. Corinne asks Mom about taking Flurry on their annual camping trip, and Mom's not sure if they're even camping, and Corinne doesn't love that. Corinne feels a lot more comfortable around Arnie now and teases him, which is good. Corinne and her mom go into town for some time away from Gwen, low-key, and they go to a bookstore, and Corinne finds out her mom is pregnant. She tells Cassidy about it. Gwen is excited, but Corinne's not sure. Remember, she's not great at change. And Corinne is like, you know what? There were 2 rooms, and we decided to share because I was being nice to Gwen, but I actually would like to have my own space. I would like to have my own room. So she asks and is told, no, that's going to be the nursery for your baby sibling. They find out that the baby is going to be a boy, and Arnie is much more invested in, like, doing his traditions, not just Corinne's family's traditions, and Corinne is unsettled by that, which I think is fair. And then when they tell her grandparents that it's going to be a boy, they're like, oh, finally a boy. And she's like, what? Gwen and I aren't enough for you? But she talks to her mom about it because the lesson she learned in the first book is, like, talk about your feelings. So she tells her mom about her worries, and her mom is like, oh, your grandparents are just old. They love you so much. They are just as excited about him as they were about you. Corinne goes on a hike with Flurry and Cassidy to keep Flurry in shape and socialize a little bit. And we have this picture, which is the same picture as the cover, but with Cassidy edited out for the cover. I love it. That's so funny to me. And Flurry is, like, never on a leash. And I know that Corinne's special interest is dog training, but I think we should leash our dog for hikes. They eat lunch and wish they had been more prepared. And they find the ski lift when it's not running, and Flurry has no problems jumping up onto that when Cassidy whistles. Corinne's reaction is, well, I can't whistle like that, but Flurry really listened to it. You should come on our camping trip. And there's not really and now I'm going to learn how to whistle. Arnie doesn't want to go camping. He doesn't like camping, and with his wife being pregnant, they're not really sure how that's going to go, but agree to do it. On the condition that basically Corinne does all of the work. don't know. Maybe you do some of it, Arnie. You're the adult that's not pregnant here. I fear we are giving in to the oldest daughter stereotype. Corinne has a video call with her dog training mentor and is given tips for how to get Flurry to jump up on her back. The neighbor lets Corinne borrow their canoe to practice helping Flurry get in and out of it. Corinne and Cassidy make a little survival kit of the things that they had wished they had had on their hike. They go camping. Cassidy comes. Arnie is a little bitch about dirt, but likes maps. Nobody in this family is neurotypical. He teaches the kids how to read a topography map. He is trying to connect, but not on things they like, just things he likes. They learn a lot about Colorado's history, and there's a moment where they talk about like the state flower columbines, and they don't mention the school, which is good, but also is my first thought when I hear Columbine is not the flower, it is the school shooting. I'm sorry. That's just the age I am and the culture I live in. And then when they come back, Corinne and Cassidy make dinner and it's walking tacos, and I really do feel like Arnie could have done that. And then they realize that Cassidy lost one of her scrunchies during the day. That comes back later. They make banana boats. There's a recipe for those in the back of the book. There's a discussion about baby names, and Arnie wants to name it Love, spelled Love, and Corinne's reaction is basically, oh, great, so everybody loves the baby more than us. Cool. That night they meet the person who is going to be with them for the canoe trip, and she makes a comment to Corinne, and Gwen was just like, oh, and I bet you guys are sisters. And Corinne is like, is anyone going to be able to tell that the boy is my brother? Interesting. Blended families, you know? I don't have any experience with that, but there are people who do, and this is great representation for them. All right, it's canoe day. The other family takes off quickly. Corinne's family does not. They put Arnie and Gwen in one canoe and then Mom, Corinne, Cassidy, and Flurry in the other, and it's kind of slow going. They stop for lunch. Arnie had packed this lunch, and it is pickled fish, lunch meat, cheese, and bread, and fruit. Arnie, your pregnant wife can't eat a lot of that. What the hell? Okay. And then they get back in the water, and the ride went from nice and easy to bad, and they get thrown out. Arnie's leg is bleeding. Mom throws up. Gwen is crying and scared. They lost all of their supplies except for the tiny survival kit that Cassidy and Corinne had made that they had put in Flurry's life vest. And thankfully, they have Arnie's map that was laminated, so they use that to try to go find help. Corinne actually for once talks about her feelings with Cassidy about the new baby, and Cassidy is good at reassuring her, but like validating her feelings. The path is blocked by a rock slide, and they have to climb over it, and at this point, Flurry successfully jumps up onto and then off of Corinne's back. So that was one of the tasks. So we've done canoe, ski lift, and her back. Good job, Flurry. They encounter a mountain lion. This is really one of those like walk to school, uphill, through snow, both ways kind of things, but I'm obsessed with this picture of Flurry when they encounter the mountain lion. Some of the rocks move and they're scared, but they are okay. They're pretty sure they're lost until Flurry finds Cassidy's scrunchie from the day before, and then they know where they are and how to get home. And they get help. The help finds their family. Arnie has to go to the hospital. He broke his shin bone. I'm sure he was still super helpful around the house and didn't make the 12-year-old do all the work. Everybody hypes up Corinne for her bravery, and she finally talks to her mom about her anxieties about the baby. She is reassured that love isn't finite and doesn't mean that she or her sister are loved any less now that there's a baby boy. And then there's a time jump, and Corinne is packing for a weekend with her dog training mentor, but has to cancel because her mom went into labor. The hospital bag isn't packed, and Arnie is just panicking, so Corinne does it. She's gonna have to go to therapy later. It's a good thing Arnie's rich. He can pay for it. They get there, and the baby has already been born, which means Arnie missed it. Corinne realizes that the face Arnie makes when meeting the baby is the same one that he made after they had found her on the mountain, so she takes that to mean that she is loved the same amount as the baby brother. The baby's named Blix, which means happy, and Corinne is excited to be a big sister. I was looking at the little end credit things, the recipe, profiles of girls, tips and tricks for you, and activity to do at home, and realized this is so American Girl magazine. The American Girl magazine is out of print. I have one from my childhood. It's at my mom's house. And I guess American Girl magazine lives on in the backs of Girl of the Year books. It deserves a whole magazine. But I guess kids don't really do magazines anymore, do they? Corinne got a movie that I will not be discussing in this video because I watched it and it made me so mad that it's getting its own video. And this video is already really long. So now we've reached the end of the media about Corinne. We're going to do my thoughts about it. Number one, I like how much she knows about her state. Fourth grade curriculum when I was that age was Michigan State history. So I like that she's doing it too. I don't know what grade she's in, but it's important to know about your state. Number two, I was surprised that COVID was mentioned in the books, but especially racism related to COVID. That Kung Flu comment, you know who popularized that? The president. So flat out saying this is racist, this is wrong, is baller. Go American Girl. Do more of that. American Girl tends to wait 40 years until it's clear which side of history was the right one to be on. It's easy to say 80 years after the fact that women should have the right to vote and child labor is bad. But 2 years into the pandemic, that's huge. And I am so proud of them for doing that. And I'm surprised I didn't hear meltdowns about Corinne, but I also wasn't really doing this project in 2022. So maybe I just missed it. But American Girl, do more of that. It's amazing. If children are old enough to experience racism, then children are old enough to learn about racism. But there's a lot of Asian hate directly related to COVID, and I'm glad that this called it out and called it wrong. And I'm not saying that I wanted the books to be entirely about experiencing racism, because then we're getting in that circle that we keep getting stuck in with Addie and Melody, where there's more to the dolls of color than the racism that they face, and they need to experience joy too. But I wish Arnie had been given the opportunity in the second book to show that he listened to what Corinne had said, that maybe there's a comment and Arnie defends her, or something happens at school and Arnie comforts her. That I wish he had been given the chance to grow in his understanding of what his family experiences. Corinne stresses me out. The way that she manages her anxiety makes me anxious. The not talking to adults about stuff really, as the adult in the room, I don't like that. But I know that there are children who feel that way. So having somebody who builds up until they have to talk about it, that's good, so that it can be like, hey, remember when this happened to Corinne? Don't do that. But I do think she is being parentified, especially on the camping trip. I don't know how I feel about Arnie. I really don't. Needing an interior designer to do the kids' room is a bit obnoxious, and I think that they should be allowed to design their own space. Like I said, I wish we had gotten to see him grow in how he handles the racism his family faces. And he sucks in the second book. Him being like, well, we can do stuff as a family, but Corinne, you have to be the adult in the room. That is not book one Arnie. Book one Arnie is awkward but trying. That he's paying for Gwen and Corinne's interests as a point of bonding. He wants to get to know their interests so he can get to know them. But in book 2, on the camping trip, he's okay with canoeing. He doesn't want to camp. He doesn't want to cook. He doesn't want to do any of that, so Corinne has to do it. But he likes maps, so that he'll do maps with them. No. Hashtag not my Arnie. I don't know what happened to him between books, and it makes me sad and mad. Gwen is super annoying in the second book, and I wish Corinne had gotten her own room. If I am ever somewhere that has Zongzi, I will try it. I don't live in a very large city. Maybe the next time I'm in Chicago, I'll go to the American Girl store and ride the train and try Chinese street food. We'll see if that'll happen. I'll vlog it. So we've reached the end. I hope you like Corinne Tan. I liked her books. I didn't like her movie. We'll talk about that one in the next one. I think training rescue dogs isn't an obvious hobby, but I like that she does it. So that's the dolls and books. I'm going to see you next week, and we're going to talk about the movie. We are not done discussing Corinne Tan yet. So thank you for watching my whole video. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and follow me over on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or Substack at BLYHDGN. And I will see you next week to discuss Corinne's movie. Okay, bye! And don't forget, if I reach 500 subscribers on YouTube, I will write my first fan fiction, and I will connect Care Bears 1 to Care Bears 2. So convince your friends to become my friend too and subscribe here on YouTube.